It began with a video that lasted only a few seconds, yet its impact reached far beyond a private relationship. Within hours, what appeared to be a personal moment between two individuals ignited one of the most talked-about corporate controversies in China. A brief recording captured inside a restricted executive elevator quickly spread across social media, raising questions that extended well beyond romance. Investors panicked. Authorities launched investigations, and one of the country's leading technology companies suddenly found itself fighting for its reputation. At first glance, the footage seemed simple. A middle-aged businessman and a younger woman stood together inside an elegant elevator. They held hands, exchanged a quiet kiss, and then disappeared as the elevator doors opened. It looked like an intimate moment that was never meant to be seen by the public. But nothing about the setting appeared ordinary. Viewers quickly noticed the luxurious wood panels, sophisticated lighting, custom-designed interior, and high-security atmosphere. Online users began comparing the elevator's appearance with photographs from executive offices belonging to one of China's largest printed circuit board manufacturers, Victory Giant Technology. As speculation intensified, attention shifted away from the relationship itself and toward the identity of the man appearing in the footage. That single question transformed an apparent celebrity-style scandal into a full-scale corporate crisis. The company had built its reputation as one of China's leading suppliers of advanced printed circuit boards used in artificial intelligence servers, data centers, and high-performance electronic systems. At a time when AI-related businesses were experiencing enormous investor confidence, Victory Giant Technology represented stability, innovation, and rapid growth. Any controversy involving its leadership carried consequences that reached far beyond personal lives. Meanwhile, the video continued spreading across Chinese social media platforms at extraordinary speed. The footage had not appeared alone. The account responsible for publishing it also released screenshots of private conversations, records of lengthy video calls, and additional material suggesting that the relationship had existed for a considerable period. Every new upload fueled fresh speculation, while internet users attempted to identify every person connected to the case. Public curiosity soon focused on a far more disturbing mystery. How could recording from what appeared to be one of the most secure areas inside a major technology company become public? That question attracted the attention of law enforcement almost immediately. Cyber investigators and local police began examining whether the company had suffered a sophisticated external cyber attack or whether someone with authorized access had secretly removed confidential surveillance footage. Victory Giant Technology filed an official complaint and requested an urgent investigation into the origin of the leak. Digital forensic teams carefully reviewed surveillance systems, internal servers, security logs, and administrator activity. Their findings dramatically changed the direction of the investigation. The elevator shown in the recording was not available to ordinary employees. It served as a private executive elevator, reserved exclusively for the chairman and a small group of senior executives. Access required special security authorization, while surveillance recordings were protected through encrypted internal systems designed to prevent unauthorized viewing. Investigators found no evidence that outside hackers had infiltrated the company's network. Instead, records suggested something far more alarming. Months before the footage appeared online, the video file had been accessed using a legitimate administrator account belonging to the company's own security department. Technically, the footage had not been stolen through hacking. It had been retrieved by someone who already possessed authorized access to the surveillance system. The discovery shifted the entire investigation. Rather than defending itself against outside attackers, the company now faced the possibility of a serious internal security breach. Sensitive executive recordings that were supposed to remain permanently protected had somehow been copied and preserved before eventually reaching the public. Authorities next traced the social media account responsible for publishing the materials. By analyzing login records, device information, and connection history, investigators identified the individual behind the account. The woman was reportedly a former employee who had previously worked within Victory Giant Technology's media division. Even more significant, investigators believed she was the same woman seen inside the elevator footage. During questioning, she reportedly stated that the man appearing beside her was the company's founder and chairman, Chun Tao. She further claimed that the surveillance recording had been obtained from someone connected to the company's internal security operations before eventually being released online. With those revelations, the mystery surrounding the video's origin began to unfold. Yet the greatest consequences were still ahead. What had started as a private relationship was rapidly becoming a crisis involving executive conduct, corporate security, investor confidence, and the hidden vulnerabilities inside one of China's most closely watched technology companies. The leaked kiss was no longer the story itself. It had become the doorway to a much larger investigation into power, trust, and the dangerous consequences of secrets that refuse to stay buried. As investigators pieced together the source of the leaked elevator footage, public attention gradually shifted away from the video itself. The kiss was no longer the biggest mystery. Instead, people wanted to understand how the relationship had begun, why it had remained hidden for so long, and what had driven someone to reveal such damaging evidence despite the enormous consequences. According to information that surfaced during the investigation, the woman identified in the footage was not an outsider who had briefly crossed paths with the company's leadership. She had previously worked within the media division of Victory Giant Technology, giving her regular access to the company's internal environment and opportunities to interact with senior executives. That detail fundamentally changed public perception, rather than being viewed as an isolated encounter. The incident appeared to be the result of a relationship that had quietly developed over several years, hidden behind the walls of one of China's fastest-growing technology companies. Reports described the woman as an ambitious young professional who had built connections through business events and public appearances. Before entering the corporate world, she had reportedly participated in regional beauty competitions and networking activities that introduced her to entrepreneurs and influential business leaders across southern China. It was within those circles that she allegedly met Chun Tao, the founder and chairman of Victory Giant Technology. By then, Chun Tao had already established himself as one of the industry's most respected entrepreneurs. His rise had become a familiar success story within China's manufacturing sector. Born into a modest family, he reportedly began his career through military service before moving into civilian employment. During the rapid industrial expansion of the 1990s, he entered the printed circuit board industry, gradually building experience before founding Victory Giant Technology in 2006. Over the following years, the company expanded into a major supplier for advanced electronics, serving industries connected to artificial intelligence, cloud computing, and high-performance data infrastructure. Investors admired his determination, employees respected his discipline, and the market viewed him as a leader capable of guiding the company through one of the most competitive technology sectors in the world. Yet behind that public image, another story was quietly unfolding. According to the allegations that later emerged, their relationship developed gradually through repeated conversations and growing personal trust. Chun Tao allegedly presented himself as a man carrying extraordinary responsibilities. He reportedly described the immense pressure of managing a multinational business, protecting thousands of employees, and balancing a demanding personal life. At the same time, he is said to have offered encouragement and professional support. Promises of career guidance, business opportunities, financial advice, and long-term security reportedly strengthened the emotional connection between them. For someone hoping to establish herself in an increasingly competitive environment, such promises may have appeared both sincere and life-changing. Over time, the relationship allegedly became increasingly serious. Reports claimed that discussions about building a future together eventually included the possibility of starting a family. As expectations grew, the relationship appeared to move beyond secrecy and toward long-term commitments. However, according to later allegations, reality began drifting further away from those promises. Despite the chairman's immense wealth and influence, the woman reportedly found herself carrying much of the financial responsibility associated with raising their child. The support she believed would accompany the relationship allegedly became inconsistent, while communication gradually deteriorated. The imbalance that may have existed from the beginning became increasingly difficult to ignore. Meanwhile, Chun Tao's public image remained untouched. As Victory Giant Technology continued benefiting from China's expanding AI and semiconductor industries, the company enjoyed growing investor confidence. Public appearances portrayed stability, business success, and strong corporate leadership, while the private relationship reportedly became more complicated behind closed doors. The situation reportedly reached a turning point toward the end of 2025. According to various accounts, unusual financial activity is believed to have drawn the attention of Qin Tao's family, eventually leading to the discovery of both the relationship and the child. Rather than triggering an immediate public confrontation, the matter reportedly entered a quieter legal phase involving lawyers, negotiations, and discussions over financial responsibilities. From that point onward, tensions appeared to escalate rapidly. Reports suggested that communication between the two became increasingly limited. Allegations claimed that financial assistance slowed, promises remained unfulfilled, and the relationship that had once been built on trust gradually collapsed under the weight of disappointment and unresolved disputes. For months, the conflict remained hidden from public view. Then, in early 2026, a series of highly publicized corporate events appeared to deepen the emotional divide. While the woman reportedly struggled with financial pressure and personal uncertainty, Chen Tao continued appearing at major business functions alongside his wife. News coverage showed him attending high-profile financial ceremonies, smiling before cameras, celebrating corporate achievements, and presenting the image of a confident executive leading one of China's most successful technology companies. To outside observers, everything appeared perfectly normal. But according to later allegations, those public appearances represented something entirely different to the woman involved. The future she believed had been promised no longer seemed to exist. Feeling abandoned and increasingly isolated, she allegedly reached a breaking point. The surveillance footage that had remained hidden for months suddenly became far more than evidence of a secret relationship. It became a powerful tool capable of exposing a private world that had remained invisible to everyone outside the company's inner circle. With one decision, a deeply personal conflict was transformed into a public controversy that would soon shake financial markets, trigger regulatory scrutiny. Once the leaked footage spread across social media, the consequences extended far beyond the lives of the two people involved. What had begun as a private relationship quickly evolved into a crisis that threatened investor confidence, corporate stability, and the reputation of one of China's fastest-growing technology companies. In modern financial markets, public trust is often as valuable as revenue, and when that trust begins to disappear, the effects can be immediate. Within days of the controversy becoming public, investors reacted with remarkable speed. Victory Giant Technology had earned its position as a major supplier of advanced printed circuit boards used in artificial intelligence servers, data centers, and high-performance electronics. The company's success had attracted thousands of shareholders who believed its future was closely tied to China's rapidly expanding AI industry. However, the scandal shifted attention away from technological innovation and toward the judgment of the company's leadership. Questions that had never previously been asked suddenly dominated financial discussions. Could personal decisions made by senior executives affect corporate governance? Had internal security systems failed to protect confidential information? And if surveillance footage from one of the company's most secure executive areas could be copied and released, what did that suggest about the organization's internal controls? Those concerns were enough to trigger widespread panic in the market. When trading resumed following the spread of the controversy, investors rushed to reduce their exposure. Shares of Victory Giant Technology experienced a sharp decline as selling pressure intensified throughout the trading session. The company's valuation suffered a significant blow within only a few hours, erasing billions in market value and demonstrating how quickly public confidence can disappear when uncertainty replaces trust. The financial losses were not limited to institutional investors. Hundreds of thousands of ordinary shareholders, many of whom had invested because of the company's strong position within the semiconductor and artificial intelligence supply chain, watched the value of their investments fall dramatically. For many families, the controversy represented more than a headline. It became a painful financial setback caused by events completely outside their control. As the market reacted, regulators also began paying close attention. The stock exchange requested explanations from the company regarding whether the chairman's personal conduct had influenced corporate management or whether any company resources had been improperly used. Officials also examined whether the controversy posed broader risks to corporate governance or leadership stability. The scandal had now moved beyond internet speculation. It had become a formal regulatory issue with potential implications for shareholders, executive accountability, and investor protection. Inside Victory Giant Technology, senior leadership reportedly worked urgently to contain the damage. Emergency meetings were held to reassure investors, calm market fears, and demonstrate that daily operations remained stable despite the growing controversy. Among the measures introduced was an employee share ownership plan worth hundreds of millions of yuan. The initiative aimed to reinforce confidence by showing that management and employees remain committed to the company's long-term future despite the public crisis. The strategy helped slow the immediate panic. Over the following trading sessions, the company's share price recovered part of its earlier losses as investors responded positively to stabilization efforts. Yet while market performance showed signs of improvement, restoring public confidence proved to be a far more difficult challenge. Financial recovery can happen relatively quickly. Rebuilding credibility often takes much longer. Meanwhile, the official investigation continued. Authorities reportedly secured surveillance systems, restricted administrator access, and collected digital evidence to prevent further unauthorized disclosures. Investigators also questioned individuals connected to the case as they attempted to determine exactly how confidential surveillance footage had remained accessible long after it had been recorded. During the investigation, Chen Tao reportedly acknowledged having a personal relationship with a former employee, but rejected allegations suggesting deception or coercion. Through legal representatives, he declined to publicly address several claims surrounding financial promises and other personal matters that had become part of the broader controversy. The woman at the center of the case also entered the public spotlight. In an online live stream, she appeared emotionally exhausted as she reflected on the relationship and admitted that she had placed enormous hope in a future. Her appearance generated mixed reactions across social media. Some viewers expressed sympathy for her situation, while others questioned the decision to release private company surveillance footage regardless of the personal circumstances behind it. Beyond the personal conflict, the controversy exposed a much larger issue. Security experts and corporate observers began debating whether highly sensitive surveillance recordings, many wondered what other sensitive information, might also be vulnerable inside major corporations. Whether the leak resulted solely from personal retaliation or reflected deeper weaknesses in internal security, the incident became a powerful reminder that corporate risk extends beyond financial performance and technological innovation. In the end, this was never simply the story of a leaked kiss or a hidden affair. It became a cautionary example of how personal decisions, executive responsibility, internal security, and public accountability can collide with devastating consequences. A few seconds of surveillance footage exposed years of private relationships, triggered billions in financial losses, attracted regulatory scrutiny, and permanently altered public perception of a company built over decades. For Victory Giant Technology, the immediate market turbulence eventually eased, but the larger lesson remained impossible to ignore. In today's digital world, where information can travel across the globe within minutes, the greatest threat to even the most successful organizations may not come from competitors or economic downturns, but from the hidden secrets that powerful people believe will never be revealed.